My mother-in-law, Alara Wang, was truly a wish-granting miracle worker, always agreeing to everyone's requests. The moment she saw my brand new BMW 7 Series, she immediately turned around and lent it to someone else. That very night, that person, driving drunk and without a license, crashed into a tree. The car was totaled, and the driver died. Not only did I lose my car, but the deceased's family also came demanding $5 million. My mother-in-law then claimed that if I hadn't shown off my wealth, such a thing wouldn't have happened. She even led the deceased's family to my company, causing a scene and demanding double the compensation. Under the immense pressure of debt, I suffered a mental breakdown and eventually died in a car accident. The moment I opened my eyes, I was back to the day I received my new car. A clear knock echoed at the door, startling me. I had come back to life. The door opened, and my mother-in-law, Alara Wang, excitedly led a man inside. Even if he were reduced to ashes, I'd still recognize him. Brandon Wang, the good-for-nothing who, along with Alara Wang, stole my car in my previous life. He darted a shifty glance at me, a fake smile plastered on his face. "Oh, sister-in-law is home too." Before I could say anything, Alara Wang eagerly pulled him down onto the sofa. Sit, Brandon. Make yourself comfortable while Auntie gets you some fruit." Brandon Wang chuckled awkwardly. "Auntie, please don't trouble yourself. I came today because I need your help with something." Hearing the words, "help with," Alara Wang's eyes lit up like an NPC triggered by a keyword. She nearly jumped with excitement. "What is it?" "Don't worry, Auntie will definitely help." Brandon Wang's gaze fell directly on the BMW car keys hanging by the door. "Auntie, the National Day holiday is coming up, and I plan to take my girlfriend, Lily Lan, on a trip. But unfortunately, I couldn't get train tickets. The trains are so crowded and uncomfortable. Auntie, our family doesn't need to suffer like that, do we?" Alara Wang rummaged through her purse, responding without a second thought. "Auntie will give you money for plane tickets, okay?" I remained silent. As long as it didn't affect my interests, I'd clap and agree even if she offered to buy him a rocket ticket. But Brandon Wang stammered, But Lily Lan wants to go on a road trip. She says public transport is too crowded and not convenient for nurturing our relationship." At this, the wish-granting miracle worker finally seemed to get annoyed. "All right, don't worry. Auntie will think of a way to help you." Suddenly, she clapped her thigh excitedly. "Oh, how foolish of me. Your sister-in-law's new car is a BMW, isn't it? Just drive that, it's so impressive. The continuation of our Wang family line is too important to delay." She shoved money into Brandon Wang's hand while pointing at the car keys hanging by the door. "Have a wonderful trip. Auntie will cover the gas money. Hurry up and give the Wang family a grandchild. Auntie will be the first to reward you." Brandon Wang, deeply moved, hugged Alara Wang. "Auntie, you're the best to me." Seeing him about to reach for the keys, I quickly intervened. "No, I've made plans for my holiday. I need the car too." That rat-faced, sharp-nosed Brandon Wang immediately resorted to emotional manipulation. "It's all right, Auntie. If sister-in-law really isn't comfortable, then never mind. I'll go explain to Lily Lan. She probably won't break up with me just over this." "Oh, so he's threatening me now, is he?" Hearing this, Alara Wang immediately became displeased. She took a long stride towards me, pointing directly. "What do you mean, yours? It's mine asterisk. Why are you being so calculative? Brandon is such a well-behaved, accommodating child, rarely asking for favors. How thick-skinned are you to dare refuse? Can you guarantee that if you delay the continuation of our Wang family line, you'll bear the consequences?" I let out a cold laugh, pushing her hand away. "Your Wang family lives very long. There's no need to rush the matter of continuing the line." Alara Wang blinked her narrow eyes, looking at me with confusion. I kindly explained, "They say turtles live for 1,000 years, sea turtles for 10,000. Your Wang family lives a very long time. There's no need to rush marriage and having children." Alara Wang finally realized I was insulting her. She trembled with rage, about to retaliate, but I raised my hand in a shush gesture. "What's wrong? Don't you see you belong to that group too? Looking at you constantly granting every request, I thought you were competing with the wish-granting turtle in the pond." Alara Wang, furious to the point of madness, spun around and rushed to the window, grabbing the bars. "No, let me die. How can I live with this humiliation? This wench dares to disgrace me like this." Watching her theatrics, I merely gave a cold smile. In my previous life, she was just the same. Her sweet talk was sickening, and she was even more miraculous than the wish-granting turtle in the pond. No matter what anyone asked, she'd nod and agree. But it was only asterisk agreement. She'd ignore all consequences. then turn around and stage a life-or-death drama, forcing family members to bear the responsibility and fulfill all the requests. I couldn't even remember how many times I had to clean up her messes, from big things like finding jobs for others to small things like walking a dog on a rainy day or queuing for famous bubble tea. Every time I complained, my husband, Liam Liu, would feign pity. My mother raised me alone through so much hardship. It wasn't easy. For my sake, please bear with her a little. She's just too lonely, so she wants to find something to do. Don't be so hard on her. In my previous life, I fell for Liam Liu's devilish words. Each time, I had to suppress my anger and endure it. But who knew that my concessions and Liam Liu's indulgence only led to Alara Wang becoming even more overbearing? The scope of her help requests grew wider and wider. Taking one step back didn't lead to vast seas and open skies, but to falling into a bottomless abyss. From finding jobs and doctors to trivial errands, as long as someone dared to ask, she'd nod and agree. It was a miracle she didn't meet the little match girl. Otherwise, she would surely have forced me to find the girl's grandmother and bring her back. Our household items gradually diminished. Nothing was safe, not even my mouthwash cup, which she gave to a stray dog downstairs for water. The BMW 7 Series I had just bought, before I even had a chance to drive it, was secretly lent by her to her biological nephew, Brandon Wang. After borrowing the car, Brandon Wang drove drunk and without a license, crashed into a tree, totaling the car and killing himself. Not only did I lose my car, but Alara Wang also came crying, bringing the entire family to my company to cause a scene, claiming I had caused the death of the Wang family's only grandson, and forcing me to pay $5 million in compensation. As a result, I was fired from my company, burdened with immense debt, suffered a mental breakdown, and eventually died in a traffic accident. Reborn into this life, I finally understood. Whose mother, whose responsibility, whose wish, whose fulfillment. I swore I would never coexist with that old woman of the Wang family and her nephew. As I was reminiscing, Liam Liu's surprised, loud voice cut through my thoughts. "Oh, Alice is home from work?" He looked at me with dissatisfaction. "Alice, what are you doing? Mom is old and not in good health. Can't you just give in to her a little?" Haha, the familiar recipe, the unchanging flavor. Alara Wang, seeing her loyal ally return, upped her theatrics. "Oh my heavens, what sin have I committed? My son, you'll be all alone later on. Mother truly has no face left to live." Liam Liu, eyes red-rimmed, hugged her legs tightly. Mom, don't do anything foolish. Think of me, Mom." Brandon Wang also joined in. "Auntie, you're the pillar of the Wang family. Without you, how can we live?" I smiled, looking at Brandon Wang. "Pillar? You must be referring to the most foolish one, right?" Hearing this, Alara Wang cried even louder, trying to lunge out the window. Liam Liu, panicked, rushed over and grabbed my collar. "Quickly, kneel down and apologize to Mom. If anything happens to her, I'll never forgive you." I violently pushed his hand away, pointing towards the window. "Open your dog eyes and look. There's a tiny safety net outside. Your mom could lose another 50 kilograms and still wouldn't fit through." Liam Liu chuckled awkwardly. "Wife, I was just too worried, so I got flustered." Alara Wang, who had been standing on the windowsill, was now in an awkward position, unable to advance or retreat. I crossed my arms, smirking at her. "Please continue your performance." She rolled her eyes, then put her hands around her neck. "Living is hard, dying isn't easy, huh? To be humiliated like this in front of my own family. Today I will die for you to see?" I scoffed. "Well then, make sure you pay attention to your image. Die beautifully. I'm allergic to ugly things." Hearing that, Alara Wang immediately changed her attitude, agilely jumping down from the windowsill. She pointed at the keys by the door, telling Brandon Wang, "The car keys are there, go take them yourself." Then she turned back, glaring at me. "This car, today, whether you want to lend it or not, it will asterisk be lent. Can I even decide such a small matter?" Brandon Wang smirked, thanking her while rushing to the door for the keys. I quickly followed, but Liam Liu unexpectedly grabbed me from behind, holding me tight. "Alice, calm down a bit. It's hard for Brandon to find a girlfriend. He needs a new car to show off, right? Be a good, understanding wife." I tried to retort, but he clamped my mouth shut. Alara Wang snatched my phone, saying coldly, "Quickly, lock this wench in the bedroom. Don't let her ruin the Wang family's important matters." Liam Liu obeyed, forcefully pushing me into the bedroom without a glance, even as I fell hard onto the floor. He locked the door tightly. I huddled on the cold floor, silently shedding tears. They had stolen my phone, cutting off all contact with the outside world. Watching the clock's hands relentlessly turn, my heart felt like it had a gaping hole filled with whistling winds. My chest ached, a suffocating despair. I painfully and reluctantly crawled up, looking out the window of the 33rd floor. At a height of nearly 100 meters, unless I grew wings, there was no escape. Reborn into this life, must I still repeat the tragedy of my past? No, I won't. Heaven never seals off all paths, there must be a solution. My legs trembling, I gripped the safety net tightly, scanning around for an escape. Suddenly, I spotted an old, dusty cardboard box in a corner. An idea sparked in my mind. At the company's year-end party, I had prepared a trio and a half performance and specially bought a super large bronze gong from an online store. After the performance, the gong was left neglected in the room, covered in dust. To escape this situation, I needed to attract attention. Desperate times called for desperate measures. I quickly locked the bedroom door, then pushed the nightstand and desk in front of it to block it. After that, I ran to the window, flung it open, and with all my might struck the gong. "Help! Help! Someone is trying to harm me." The gong's sound echoed in the wind, carrying far. People in the building opposite had already opened their windows, craning their necks to watch. Outside the bedroom door, I heard Liam Liu and Alara Wang. "We have to break the door down. What trick is this wench trying to pull now?" I heard Alara Wang furiously yell. "We should have shut her mouth earlier." They rushed and pounded on the door several times, but it wouldn't open. Liam Liu started his familiar tactic. "My dear wife, don't be angry anymore. Open the door. Your husband will coax you gently. If you're angry, your husband will be heartbroken." I felt nauseous, almost throwing up last night's dinner. Reborn into this life, if I still believed his sweet words, then what was the point of my rebirth? I continued to shout loudly. "Help! Someone wants to kill me. Call the police quickly." Alara Wang, startled, yelled, "Quick, get an axe and break the door down. Let's see how much more trouble this wench dares to cause." Liam Liu obeyed without hesitation, swinging an axe at the door lock. The already wobbly bedroom door under the strong impact burst open. Alara Wang stood at the doorway, triumphantly pointing at me. "This wench is so good, huh? What's the use of screaming? Even a judge can't settle family matters. Isn't it just borrowing a car? You're part of the Wang family. If I say it's done, it's done. Whether you like it or not, you have to accept it." She turned to Liam Liu. "Son, tie her up." "Tie her tightly? It's a holiday anyway. Starve her for a few days and she'll behave." Liam Liu hesitated for a moment but still obeyed, taking a rope from Alara Wang's hand and approaching me. As he walked, he said, "Wife, if only you were well behaved, how much better it would be. You wouldn't have to suffer like this." My heart turned to ice. This was the man I had painstakingly chosen. A cup of bubble tea costing tens of thousands would make me ponder for ages, yet I had agreed to marry this fool, Liam Liu, right away. Seeing the clock nearing 8 o'clock, I took a deep breath, telling myself, "Don't give up." I started running around the bed to avoid him. Liam Liu chased me, growing impatient. "How long do you plan to cause trouble? If you anger Mom, you'll be the one to suffer. Don't blame me for not warning you." Under their pursuit, I quickly became exhausted and fell to the floor. Liam Liu lunged, pinning me down and snatching the gong. Alara Wang rushed over and slapped me hard across the face. I glared at her, my eyes blazing with a desire to tear her apart. Just then, a frantic knocking sounded outside. Alara Wang, annoyed, waved her hand, signaling Liam Liu to keep quiet and pretend no one was home. But the knocking didn't stop, followed by a voice calling, "Police, open up." My eyes, which had been full of despair, now brightened. Alara Wang signaled Liam Liu, then reluctantly walked to the door, muttering as she went, "What's all that knocking for? Trying to get reincarnated?" Liam Liu immediately changed his expression, turning back to help me up, even solicitously dusting off my clothes. "Wife, don't be scared. Your husband was just joking." I slapped him hard. "Joking, my foot." The police officers entered, saw Liam Liu angrily about to strike me, and immediately shouted, stopping him. I quickly hid behind a police officer, feigning fear. "Officers, I want to report a crime. They stole my new car, illegally detained me, beat me, and cursed at me. I'm so scared, you must save me." Alara Wang angrily widened her eyes and yelled, "When did you say such nonsense? When did I steal your things?" I shed a few mournful tears. "Keep talking like that. In this house, besides my underwear and toothbrush, what else belongs to me? The car I just bought, you stole it and gave it to Brandon Wang, someone without a license. If something happens, who will take responsibility?" Alara Wang nearly jumped 3 feet high, but in front of the police, she could only glare at me with resentment. I didn't bother arguing further. I took out the car purchase documents and receipts from my pocket and handed them to the police. The facts were clear, the evidence complete. The police immediately requested to take them to the station for investigation. Hearing this, Alara Wang collapsed onto the floor, wailing. "We're family, we should help each other. What's so big about lending a car? This wench only sees money without any familial affection, just like her parents, a heartless, ungrateful kind." I laughed coldly. Family affection? Alara Wang considered herself a master of social etiquette, well-loved by relatives. But that love was all bought with my countless sacrifices. Thankfully, I've finally come to my senses. Let's guess who the next victim will be. The police quickly helped me recover my new car and also summoned Brandon Wang to the station for reprimand and education. As for the dispute between me, Alara Wang, and Liam Liu, it was classified as a family conflict. They were given a stern lecture and then released. Alara Wang, with her mummy's boy son, strolled out with a triumphant look on her face. Watching their devoted mother-son backs, I gave a cold smile. "Triumphant, are you? The lightning strike is on its way." While they were having tea at the police station, I secretly installed new hidden cameras throughout the house and packed all my important belongings. I couldn't stay in this house anymore. I feared that when lightning struck them, I'd be caught in the crossfire. Before leaving, I thoughtfully placed all of Liam Liu's truly important personal belongings in the most conspicuous spot in the house. Since I had nothing else to do, I used the camera videos from inside the house as an entertaining show to watch. As expected, Brandon Wang arrived shortly after they got home, looking utterly dejected. "Auntie, Lily Lan threatened to break up with me." Alara Wang immediately panicked, springing up as if on a coil. "What? Tell Auntie quickly. Auntie will think of a way to help you." Brandon Wang tried to squeeze out a few tears, his eyes red-rimmed. "It's all because I'm so unlucky." As he spoke, he stood up, intending to leave. Alara Wang quickly grabbed his sleeve. "My dear, don't rush. Tell Auntie clearly, what is Lily Lan angry about? Is it about the car for your trip?" She looked around, then her eyes suddenly lit up. "If Lily Lan doesn't mind, you can just drive your cousin's car, okay?" Yes, those were my car keys that I had deliberately taken out and placed by the door. The words had barely left her lips when Brandon Wang's face immediately brightened. His original purpose in borrowing a car was just to drink, show off, and make an impression. Although Liam Liu's car wasn't as luxurious as a BMW 7 Series, its price of over $300 million was certainly impressive enough. Alara Wang triumphantly clapped her hands, calling out as usual, "Alice, bring some money here." Through the screen, I sneered. "Now, even if you burn me, I wouldn't hear you." When no one answered, she finally realized my absence. Muttering curses, she pulled a wad of money from her purse and shoved it into Brandon Wang's hand. "Come on, Auntie will take you to get the car and fill up the tank." And so, the wish-granting miracle worker's daily ritual was complete. She looked like a stray dog that had found a bone, excitedly rushing out. When she returned, she was covered in dust, collapsing onto the sofa like a dead dog, panting heavily and downing a full glass of water. Liam Liu, just back from work, saw her and solicitously asked, "Mom, where did you go?" Her face showed a fleeting hint of guilt. "Isn't it because of all the busy things in this house? Without a mother, this family would fall apart sooner or later." Liam Liu nodded profusely. "Yes, having an elder is like having a treasure. Mom is an indispensable pillar in this home." Alara Wang successfully changed the subject, and Liam Liu thoughtfully massaged her back, completely oblivious that their house was missing a person. Through the screen, I laughed until my stomach hurt. I hoped the mother and son would always maintain such harmony. At 2 a.m., the same time as in my previous life, I was woken by my phone ringing. "Wife, something's happened. Come quickly." I sprang up like a coiled spring, secretly smiling. Another show to watch. Arriving at the hospital, I saw a crowd surrounding the emergency room. The police had also arrived, even before me. With an ashen face, Liam Liu gave me 2 pieces of bad news. First, his car was completely destroyed. Second, the driver was dead. He couldn't believe it, muttering, "How can this be?" My car was clearly parked in the basement. How did it end up in Brandon's hands? This can't be real. As he spoke, he ruffled his hair, about to bolt. The police sternly pulled him back. "Where are you going? That car is registered in your name. Don't think you can escape." They showed photos of the accident scene. Liam Liu's car, completely deformed after crashing into a bridge pillar, reduced to a pile of scrap metal. Alara Wang also gradually realized that things had spiraled out of control and quietly retreated. I pointed at the photo, feigning surprise. "Mom, I told you Brandon doesn't have a license. Why did you still give him the car? Brandon is the Wang family's only grandson. Now that this has happened, how will you explain it to his parents?" Liam Liu turned around, looking at Alara Wang in despair. Mom, did you really lend this car to Brandon? Alara Wang's face turned pale. She stammered, unable to utter a word. I tried to suppress the smile on my lips. Yes, Mom is our wish granter. Didn't you know? Besides, this is the Wang family's only grandson. You, as a biological son, just have to come second. Before I could finish, Liam Liu lunged forward, grabbing Alara Wang's shoulders and shaking her violently. Mom, why did you harm me like this? I'm your own son. You clearly knew Brandon didn't have a license, so why did you lend him the car? As he spoke, he forcefully pushed her, sending Alara Wang sprawling to the ground. She glared at Liam Liu, her eyes full of resentment. The police calmly explained to Liam Liu, since Brandon was driving drunk and without a license, as the car owner, you must bear full responsibility. Liam Liu was stunned, his face contorted. Why? The police gently explained. According to the law, if the car owner entrusts the vehicle to someone who is not qualified to drive, the car owner is held responsible. When they left the police station, the sun was already high, but Liam Liu stumbled, his legs unsteady. The situation was even worse. Brandon Wang had not only caused his own accident but also hit another person. The victim was currently in the ICU, with daily treatment costs reaching hundreds of thousands. All hospital bills and future recovery costs would fall upon Liam Liu. With his meager salary, he wouldn't be able to pay it off even if he lived for another 500 years. On the way home, Alara Wang, usually so defiant, now cowered in a corner, not daring to utter a sound. Liam Liu's face was dark, looking as if you could wring water from it. Finally, he spoke. Mom, how much money is left in the house? Because he didn't trust me, Liam Liu usually gave his salary to Alara Wang to hold. Now that trouble had struck, of course, he turned to his mother for money. Alara Wang stammered, unable to answer. Liam Liu, losing patience, snatched her phone and immediately checked her bank account. He shrieked like a pig being slaughtered. What is this? There are only 300 left in the bank card, he shouted. Every month I gave you 80,000. You said you've been saving for years, there should be at least 5 million. Why is there only 300 left now? Where's the money? Alara Wang wiped her tears, not answering. I stepped closer, eavesdropping. What's going on? 300. Liam Liu punched himself hard in the head, then shoved the phone in front of me. 80,000 a month, that's nearly $1 million a year. Over the past 6 years, there should be at least 5 million. Why is there only 300 left now? I gave a faint smile. Don't ask me. That's a secret between you and your mother. I know nothing. Perhaps your mother lent it to someone. Who knows? Other people's wish-granting miracle workers need to be revered. Yours, however, not only grants wishes but also takes people's money. Truly a rare species. Liam Liu couldn't control his rage. He grabbed Alara Wang's collar and yelled, Where's the money? Did you lend it all to someone? Alara Wang bit her lip, tears streaming down her face, saying nothing. I stepped forward, pulling Alara Wang out of Liam Liu's grip and said, What are you doing? Mom works so hard for the family, busy with 100 tasks to maintain relationships, and you speak to her like that? Humans are social creatures. We need good relationships. Don't be so narrow-minded. As I spoke, I thoughtfully handed Alara Wang a glass of water. It's just a little money. You can earn it back slowly. But once a person's heart turns cold, it can never be warmed again. In my previous life, every time I argued with Alara Wang, Liam Liu would say exactly that to defend her. Even when Alara Wang arbitrarily lent my new BMW 7 Series to Brandon Wang, who then drove drunk, causing a fatal accident. The victim's family even came to my company, causing a scene and demanding compensation. The court ordered me to pay 1 million, but Alara Wang didn't stop there. She claimed that Brandon Wang was the Wang family's only grandson, and his life was more precious than an ordinary person's. She demanded I pay double, 5 million, not a penny less. When I refused, she led the victim's family to my company to cause trouble, which made me lose my job. She even went around spreading rumors, blaming me for everything. If it weren't for me always maintaining good relations with my own family, making him pay with his life wouldn't be too much to ask this time. HMPH. Every day, he parades around with a face like a corpse. I wonder for whose benefit. If it weren't for me still remembering how to be a decent human being, let alone 5 million, even more wouldn't be enough. Even passers-by, unaware of the full situation, would point at me. You lent your car to someone without a license. Isn't that harming people? Your mother-in-law is so good. How dare you cause trouble all the time? Truly shameless. I went back to confront her, but she continued to play the victim. I didn't expect things to turn out this way. If you hadn't liked showing off and insisted on buying a luxury car, Brandon wouldn't have borrowed it. You only lost 5 million, but Brandon lost his life. Her logic was perfectly constructed, defending herself without any flaws. I couldn't help but argue with her. As a result, Liam Liu not only didn't defend me but also raised his hand and slapped me several times. Having an elder in the house is like having a treasure. Mom is devoted to the family. How could she harm us? Isn't it your fault for sulking and buying a new car? Wasn't the old car in the house good enough for you? I screamed. If your mother hadn't secretly lent my car to someone else, would any of this have happened? In return, I received another painful beating. You can curse me, but you absolutely cannot badmouth my mother, not even one word. Otherwise, I'll make you regret it. I hated Alara Wang, I hated Liam Liu, but I hated myself even more. How could I have been so blind as to marry a man like him? I couldn't understand why my life, which had just begun, had fallen into such a deadlock. In my despair, I had a car accident and lost my life. Thinking of this, I burst into a radiant smile. Liam Liu, Mom carried you, gave birth to you, and raised you alone. It wasn't easy. Even crows know to return kindness, and baby goats know to kneel while nursing. Are you perhaps worse than an animal? Liam Liu, a mummy's boy expert for 30 years, had been completely submissive to his mother. My recent interrogation had completely drained his courage, and with a few more words from me, he immediately fell silent. He helplessly said, "Mom, are you trying to force me to my death?" Alara Wang burst into tears. You know, Mother loves you the most. Your father passed early. It wasn't easy for me, a woman alone. If it weren't for others' help, Mother wouldn't have been able to make it to today. Liam Liu desperately asked, "So where did all the money go?" Alara Wang said, "Mother has an online friend. Her son is addicted to gambling and lost a lot of money." Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. Before she could finish, Liam Liu passed out. While he was still on an IV drip in the hospital bed, Brandon Wang's parents stormed in with a group of people. "You brat, where's the money?" Liam Liu's uncle grabbed his collar unceremoniously. "My son is now lying cold in the morgue, and you're here pretending to be dead. Do you believe I'll kill you right now? If you hadn't foolishly lent him the car, none of this would have happened." Alara Wang chuckled obsequiously. "Brother, sister-in-law, please don't be angry." Before she could finish, the aunt slapped her across the face with a resounding smack. "You cursed woman, shut your mouth." Alara Wang obediently fell silent. The aunt lunged forward, simultaneously grabbing Liam Liu's hair and scratching him. "You beast, if you don't hand over the money today, I'll kill you." Liam Liu, his throat squeezed, glared, stammering, "Uncle, you said. I'm more than your own son. I'll pay the money, but give me a little more time." The uncle spat directly in his face. "You idiot, you still believe those words. My son is dead, and you still have the nerve to talk about feelings? Not a single penny can be missing, or I'll send you down to keep Brandon company." I stood aside, seizing the opportunity to add fuel to the fire. "Uncle, the family really is out of money. My mother-in-law lent all the money to an online friend, or how about Liam Liu pays it off in installments with his salary?" The uncle immediately slapped Liam Liu again. "Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? He's worked for so many years and has no savings, yet he lent money to an online friend? Even a pig wouldn't do something so stupid." I continued to taunt. "Uncle, I'm not lying to you. My mother-in-law is famous for granting every wish. You know that, right? I clearly told her that Brandon didn't have a license and shouldn't be lent the car, but she wouldn't listen." In the hospital room, the atmosphere suddenly fell silent. All eyes turned to Alara Wang. She stammered awkwardly, "I've been soft-hearted since I was young. I can't bear to see others in a rush." Seeing her still trying to justify herself, the aunt, known for her sharp tongue, grabbed her hair and yelled, "I said the Wang family ancestors weren't blessing us, and now I know why. It's because of you. Brandon is the Wang family's only grandson. We spoiled him rotten, knowing he liked to drink, so we didn't let him get a license. Yet you immoral wretch, dared to give him the car." The aunt cried and furiously beat Alara Wang. "Say less, 2 million, not a single penny missing." The uncle stood by, coldly looking at Liam Liu. "Your mother is stupid, but can you understand human speech? You have 3 days to come up with 2 million, or I'll make sure you regret it." Liam Liu, by habit, immediately defended his mother. "I call you uncle out of respect for my mother." "On what grounds do you speak to her like that?" The uncle sneered. "I'm afraid of dirtying my mouth. If you give me the money now, I'll turn around and leave immediately. I don't want to see your unlucky faces." Liam Liu's voice hardened. "Money, there's none. Life, there's only one. The house only has 300 left. Take it or leave it." Daring to stand up to the uncle had only one outcome. he led his people to brutally beat Liam Liu, who was lying in the hospital bed. I pulled out my phone, pretending to call the police, but Alara Wang quickly pulled my arm. It's just a family matter. Making it public would be shameful. Brandon died so young, letting them vent a little is fine. Since his own mother said so, I, soon to be his ex-wife, naturally didn't need to care. By the time the nurse called security to intervene, Liam Liu had been beaten to the brink of death. Seeing him covered in blood, Alara Wang shrieked. I suppressed a laugh, feigning concern. Are you okay, darling? Oh my, Mom, why did you pull me back earlier? Look how beaten Liam Liu is. Hearing that, Liam Liu, already at death's door, became so furious that he passed out. After being discharged from the hospital room by the doctor, Alara Wang felt she needed to regain her composure. She pointed at me, shouting, That wench, are you trying to destroy this family? Is that it? This matter is now closed. From now on, no one is to bring it up again. I pretended to ask weakly, so Liam Liu was beaten like this and he just has to endure it unjustly. Didn't you see how badly he was beaten, Mom? He's your own son, don't you feel any pity? Alara Wang replied coldly. Brandon borrowed his car and then this happened. He just got a few beatings, he'll recover after a few days of rest. But Brandon lost his life. Just then, an angry voice boomed from behind. What the hell are you saying? Hearing the voice, Alara Wang, like a defeated chicken, immediately hung her head low. The person who had just arrived was Liam Liu's grandmother, up from the countryside. I had intentionally informed the old woman. With her permed hair and heavy eyeliner, she looked at Alara Wang with murderous intent. How much is that cheap face of yours worth? Alice, quickly call the police. I obediently complied, about to dial, when Alara Wang quickly rushed to stop me. You can't call the police. Brandon's death was our fault. If we call the police now, how will I ever face anyone later? She even tried to persuade the old woman. Mother, please, for all these years I've been filial to you, let me keep a little dignity. If we call the police, my good reputation, built over so many years, will be completely ruined. Grandma ignored her, turned around, grabbed Alara Wang's collar, and gave her a heavy beating. Did you eat dog poop? Don't you know how to use your brain, you rotten woman? Not only did you cause my son's death, but you also wanted to harm my grandson. Why don't you just die? Grandma's scolding wasn't wrong at all. My father-in-law, a doting husband, had died because of her. She once agreed to help a friend walk their dog during a storm and was struck by a falling billboard, dying on the spot. Old and new grudges rushed back. Grandma hit harder and harder. Soon, Alara Wang was beaten so badly that blood covered her, looking no different than a squashed tomato. I coldly watched her miserable cries. So, when the fists landed on herself, she also felt pain. For many years, my father-in-law and Liam Liu's pampering had made her forget the meaning of moderation. Every time we argued, she'd use filial piety to suppress others, opening her mouth to lament her hardships and morally bind me. But this time, I had specifically brought her nemesis from the countryside to see how she would cope. Finally, Alara Wang was beaten to the point of being unable to bear it and turned to me for help. Alice, save Mom. Mom was wrong. I replied to her with her own famous words. Didn't Mom used to say that as a daughter-in-law you must endure? Today, why don't you set an example for your children and grandchildren? Grandma is old. She doesn't have the strength to hit hard. Don't pretend anymore. Seeing that I wouldn't help, Alara Wang turned to seek assistance from her maternal relatives, hoping her own family would help her. But alas, the uncle and aunt were drowning in the grief of losing their son, hating her to the bone. They simply turned away, pretending not to see. Alara Wang endured the 5 most difficult minutes of her life. When the police arrived, after a brief inquiry into the situation, they decided to take the uncle and others to the station for investigation. Alara Wang, who had been lying prostrate, pretending to be dead, immediately sprang up as if nothing had happened, trying to stop me. I am the biological mother of the victim, and I choose to forgive them and not pursue their responsibility. The aunt, who had just been crying mournfully, now burst into laughter. She probably couldn't comprehend how, as mothers, they could be so vastly different. I had recorded Alara Wang's entire superb performance. Liam Liu didn't wake up until the next day. He had already been scared half to death, and now he had also been beaten by his uncle's group, suffering multiple fractures and not-so-light internal injuries. Alara Wang, tears streaming down her face, looked at him with an expression of deep sorrow. My good son, Mother told you to be careful in everything you do and not to be impulsive. Why didn't you listen? If you had been obedient and not argued back, how could you have been beaten like this? I stepped closer, adding salt to the wound. Husband, you're truly pitiful. Just for speaking a few honest words, you were beaten to this extent by your own uncle. I originally wanted to call the police, but Mom kept pulling my hand and wouldn't let me. When the police arrived, Mom even voluntarily forgave them and told them to leave. As I spoke, I opened my phone and played the video recording of that scene as evidence. In the video, Alara Wang was bowing her head, trying to appease the uncle and aunt, repeatedly promising that once Liam Liu woke up, she would personally take him to the Wang family home to apologize. Liam Liu's eyes widened in disbelief. He stared directly at his mother. "Mom!" Alara Wang quickly snatched my phone and threw it to the ground. "Who told you to record this? This is an invasion of my privacy." Then she turned back to coax Liam Liu. "My dear son, listen to mother. Blood is thicker than water, even broken bones heal. Your aunt and uncle were just too grief-stricken, so they acted impulsively. They didn't intentionally harm you. Brandon passed away so young. This is a debt we must pay. Mother hopes you understand." Alara Wang always claimed to love everyone equally, trying her best to compensate for what she imagined as emotional debts outside the family. But every single time, she would use the closest person to her to fill the void. Before, I was the biggest victim. Now it was Liam Liu's turn. All those times I suffered, he had stood by, watching coldly. Today, he had to experience that feeling himself. Finally, Liam Liu couldn't take it anymore. He forcefully pushed Alara Wang away. Get out now, I don't want to see you anymore." Alara Wang looked hurt, gripping his hand tightly. "Son, you can't treat mother like this. Mother taught you that when you deal with people, you must leave room for retreat so you can face each other later. If you call the police now, how can mother face our relatives? Your father is gone. If I lose my support from my maternal family, I can't live. The Wang family has endured for hundreds of years, and now, because of you, it's facing extinction. Do you want to push mother to her limits?" After hearing this, Liam Liu was so enraged he couldn't breathe. Clutched his throat, his eyes wide, and then passed out. The heart monitor beeped loudly. Doctors and nurses quickly rushed to his aid, but despite their best efforts, they couldn't save Liam Liu. He died from excessive bleeding in the brainstem. I thought to myself, he probably died of anger because of his mother. In my heart, I applauded. "A fine death, excellent." Alara Wang stared at me blankly. "No way, Liam Liu was so young and healthy. How could he suddenly die just because of my words?" I laughed coldly. "I don't understand your family's matters, don't ask me. I didn't attend Liam Liu's funeral. I heard Alara Wang arranged it herself, quietly cremating and burying him. She probably didn't want anyone to know about her achievements of both harming her husband and infuriating her son to death. I found it amusing. I had originally intended to divorce him, but unexpectedly, fate intervened and I became a widow." Alara Wang continuously called and texted, begging me to give compensation money to Brandon's family. She even coined a new term, long-term emotional debt. I treated those messages like dog barks, deleting and blocking her immediately. After Liam Liu was buried, the uncle's family pressed even harder. Alara Wang was beaten several times by the aunt in front of everyone. Finally, she had to humble herself and seek out the relationships she had worked so hard to cultivate. But before she could even hint at borrowing money, everyone quickly distanced themselves from her. She was forced to transfer the deed to her father-in-law's last remaining house to pay off the debt. Cornered, Alara Wang followed bad advice and started livestreaming, attempting to pressure public opinion into making me pay the debt for her. But in this day and age, netizens are no longer easily fooled. Soon, all her wicked deeds were unearthed, even making it to the top of trending searches. The title, "Wish-Granting Miracle Worker in the Pond," spread far and wide. Wherever she went, people pointed fingers at her. Even when she wanted to rent a house, no one dared to lease to her, fearing they'd be struck by lightning by association. Without money, without a home, without income, Alara Wang fell into a situation where everyone despised her. The relationships she had worked so hard to maintain now all pretended not to see her. Perhaps the collapse from being beloved to universally hated had destabilized her mind. In the cold winter, she jumped into the river in a fit of madness. When she was pulled out, she had reunited with the turtles at the bottom of the water. Hearing the news of her death, I smiled joyfully. One less menace, and the air felt much cleaner.